morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamilov. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Crazy times we're in. Crazy times. There's no trading in the stock market, but there's trading in dog shit. I mean, silver. Um, in silver traded more volume yesterday on the ETF than gold by a lot, and by QQQ. Okay, it traded more notional value of the SLV. That doesn't include futures. It doesn't include anything else. It's just one ETF traded more volume than QQQ on the NASDAQ, which I would say if you looked at this 2 months ago, it was 1 to 40, maybe. So it's a silver convention. Silver is, you know, it could be anything. It's just a meme. Okay. No one really knows what they're buying. They're trading. It's funny. I was talking to my first boss in the business. Okay. And, we're old school and whatever. And what we used to do is we would hunt down open interest in options. And that would sort of give us a clue where the money was flowing and whatever. So yesterday he's looking at silver options for 0 DTE on Monday. That yesterday, right? Do you know what the open interest was across the board in silver from Monday expiration coming into yesterday? Zero.
Something up.
Zero. None.
What?
Over
That's
4 million contracts traded, all for the day. No open interest. Nobody had positions in it. They
wow.
basically just day traded all day. So
That that actually explains a lot because you look at you look at all that volume, but then you look at in fund flows into SLV, which are actually negative on the year. Yet you have
how
all
could
this
that
volume.
even be possible? How could
Well,
that even possibly be possible, dude? I mean, it
I
sounds
think
like
it's
I'm
based on
not going to argue it.
everyone's
It
in and
sounds
out.
like the dumbest thing I ever heard. There is no way that there is money leaving SLV. Not a chance. Okay, no chance, dude. How
All
could it
right,
even be
I'll give you
possible, Eric? The
Bloomberg phone
volume
number.
timeout. I don't care what you're going to show. It is not correct. Okay. Yesterday, SLV average volume 3 months ago was 10 million. It traded 450 million shares. That is not people leaving. Okay. That is people entering. Okay. You don't trade 450 million shares of something that trades 20 million. Okay. And have people leaving the product. Not a chance. No chance. How are you creating negative open interest? I mean, it's impossible. Absolutely impossible. The
Well,
volumes,
how could
the volumes are all retail. They're all exponential. Option volumes are in the many, many millions. And yesterday, SLV traded 20 times its average daily volume. How it can't be outflows. People don't even own that much to be outflows. So I love you, but there's no chance that what data you're looking at is correct. No chance.
okay?
No chance.
All right.
You
Okay.
think people are getting out of silver. I'm sure.
I honestly, I don't know what's going. I'm just citing the data. You just
Well,
cited
the
a very
data, whatever you're looking at, can Eric, how could it be correct? Think about it. We traded 450 million shares yesterday. They could not be selling. Okay. They have to be buying. They're creating record volumes on a daily basis. They cannot be selling. They don't own it. Okay. Nobody who's selling. You can only sell, like in retail, they're not getting short, so they can only sell what they own. And this is more volume than what they possibly could own. It's trading sick volume. Sick. I mean, it's the most amazing volume I've ever seen in my
yeah.
life. Okay. So I don't see how that's possible. Everyone and their mother is talking about silver the way they were talking about Bitcoin. Okay. No one's who's talking about Bitcoin right now? Not you. Who's talking
Silver's the
about
new.
Bitcoin?
All right.
Hmm? Huh?
Silver's the new Bitcoin.
Right. Isn't that right? But that didn't end too well for them when they got in at the highs. I mean, silver isn't 25, 30, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Dude, silver, okay, on Friday was $89 on Friday. Okay. It's added more value than the value of silver 2 years ago in price. It's an amazing move. Listen, it's here. It's crazy. It's going to go back and forth. It's trading. It's funny. There's so much going on in silver, but if you look at the silver future, like you can't even up and down a dollar, you can't buy 20 contracts. I mean, there's nothing out there, right? And, you know, on par, gold a week ago was 4,500 and now it's 5,100. So that's up a smooth 15. Um, Silver's up a smooth 55, more than the S&P return in the last 5 years in less than 3 weeks. That's pretty good. You don't need to buy stocks. You can get a 50% return in this. And what do you make of it? Like not even the silver, but just in general with these ridiculous, crazy moves with no liquidity up and down the chain. I mean, yesterday they ran silver 15% to take it down 13% in an hour. Okay. And I just don't think people understand the volatility here. And I think people are playing it big. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. A lot to talk about. We have the Fed coming up, meeting tomorrow. Obviously, you know, obviously they're looking for nothing. What is Fed funds? 99% zero.
Yeah, we're not getting a rate cut, but I just want to share one chart on silver. Yesterday was really the first time that I'm starting to notice that the curve is starting to shift a little bit in a bearish way. So, I don't think this is, I no longer am bullish on silver at this point. Just an FYI.
Uh-oh.
So,
Uh-oh, dude,
yeah,
you're the guru, you're the silver guru. You're
that's
the
right.
king of
I'm not
silver,
bullish.
bro. I
So
like it.
yesterday, finally saw a little bit of a divergence in some fundamental factors. So that's what we got here. The orange line was the curve last week, as an example, and you could see the back end of the curve is kind of trying to normalize a little
Getting
bit,
a level set.
as is the front. I don't know if you guys can make this out, but there is a little bit of a change here. So, um, if you're of the mind that silver is in the supply shortage and that's why it's backwardated, well, yesterday we got a little bit of a signal reversing that.
Dude, listen, that's
We'll
one.
take,
Wait a second,
obviously, but
Eric. That's one of the 20 different things they're saying. Supply problem. You know what's funny? S&P, I woke up this morning and I was kind of like, I was laughing to myself. Okay. S&P was trading over 7,000. Okay. You know, S&P's up, everything's up. They're buying gold, whether it be remember geopolitical, then basically data centers, then backwardation, no supply. Is a million different excuses why, but it's funny. The S&P doesn't go down. If there's really like, listen, the greatest was a week ago Monday. It came in higher because of Greenland tariffs. Then they took the tariffs off, and it still went higher, and it went a lot higher. So, like, I just don't think. Listen, I don't think you can look at this anything other than GameStop. And GameStop went ballistic where we are now in silver relative because this is a commodity, not a stock. and GameStop ended at like $10, right, or whatever. So fully, you can't see it now, but I fully believe silver will be under $50 again, or in that area. It's gonna be a kind of trade like Bitcoin, where it hangs on, drips lower, drips lower, drips lower, and then all of a sudden, all of the longs get out. And guess what they're gonna get back into when they get out?
I know you want to say Bitcoin, but I don't know.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Exactly. They'll get
I
back in.
think I think I think a 60% down move in silver that you're calling for is a little bit ambitious, but
Well,
okay.
Eric, it's up 60% for the month. So, is that ambitious? I don't know. That's not ambitious.
Well,
Wait, and guess what? It was up 300% last year. Okay. So, how is that ambitious? The thing's up 4x, maybe a little more in less than a year. So, listen, it's going to be interesting how it happens, because I think along the way, it's going to drag people in. Gold is something more to talk about and really, you know, I would say more tradable or investable. And gold
cool.
to me is interesting because gold rocketed through 5,000. Big number, right? We never closed there ever until yesterday, and you won your bet. So you can pick any restaurant in New York City. I'm taking you and your wife to dinner. I won't be there, but my credit card will for losing the bet. But but I'm just
Thank you.
not I'm not understanding in the realm that like I've always traded in and the world that we've pretty much always lived in until this meme generation is is you know the market gets above a round big number, and this happens in S&P. It happens in everything. There's like back and fill and testing and seeing it. There's like nothing. It's like it closed above 5,000. It really never closed below above 4,900. It went from like it was up $250 in one day from 4,500 to 4,750. Then the next day it was up another 100 to 4,850, 49. And then, it traded here. This is all in like 5 days. But it's interesting to me that there's no back and fill testing a level. I don't know what that level is, but testing any level. And I, we don't really see it. We may see it later today, but we don't really see it, right? And it'll be interesting as a trader or professional to see if the memers are still there in these products to create this artificial move, or did they get wiped yesterday when the market went down a lot off the highs? Gold didn't, but silver certainly did. And you know
Oh, people must have gotten incinerated because there. I just saw there were tons of buyers uh, at the high, close to the high, and that was quite a reversal. Uh, a reversal that I thought would have carry through today. I'm
It
surprised.
may, it may, give it time, give it time. I think 106 area, 105, is, dude, we're up on the week. We've been up every week, I think, for like 10 weeks in a row in silver. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing move. So, keep an eye on it. But again, I don't really want to spend the time on that. But what I would say, like, you know, talking a little bit more about gold, like, what I don't understand is what is the fascination with this stuff when they've had pa- dude, I mean, these are parabolic moves, but they've had parabolic moves before this even happened. That's what's so crazy. And are we going to see at some point, like you just said it, and I believe it's true, you had volume all buying, okay? But are we going to have a day where we do 300 million or 400 million silver and it's pretty much all for sale? I don't know who's taking the other side of it, but it'll be interesting to see. But why don't you check
The
out
other
this
angle
battle?
here, I think the other angle here is the currency market. You think I think currency markets are kind of playing a role in this as well, and boosting up the dollar. I mean, the dollar's been weak, um, and part of that I think is Japan related. The yen strengthened again last night. Last night I thought maybe the yen would actually kind of weaken a little bit, and because there's all this talk about intervention, and there was a rate check by the Fed, which signals to institutions there's going to be some sort of intervention. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no intervention, and the yen is kind of trading like nothing is really going on. And then it strengthened again last night. So I think the dollar and the currency markets are playing a role in somewhat, to
You
some
really
extent.
do? I mean, come on, dude. Listen, I'm going to be
Not
upfront.
fully, to
Okay,
some
time
extent.
out. I'm going to be upfront. Okay, you ready? Okay. This is Bitcoin on steroids. Okay. These markets. Doesn't matter if dollar's up, doesn't matter if dollar's down. Doesn't matter if stock market's up, doesn't matter if the stock market's down. It doesn't matter if bonds are up, bonds are down. None of it matters. Okay. So if you're really queuing in on a currency market to to come into a market that is so retail driven, meme stock oriented, you're gonna fool yourself because it literally, I'm being as kind as I could be. It has zero to do with it. Zero.
Yeah, well, look, I said somewhat, and I'm not really queuing in, but I think we need to watch it. I think there's, it could be an event, could not, right? But it's worth
Well, what
watching.
is the event? Tell me the event. If the dollar gets stronger against the yen, does silver go down? Or if the dollar gets weaker against the yen, does silver go down? Silver doesn't go down off of that no matter what. Not right now. I mean, listen, today's an interesting day because somehow they brought it back like 4 or 5%. If it comes in 4 or 5% today, I mean, it should go back much lower. But again, we're nowhere near that. And like gold begrudgingly is barely down. Like it's the weirdest. I mean, gold hasn't had a down day in probably 10 sessions, maybe more. I mean, people sitting in the jewelry. Think about these. Like, I don't know if you had definitely have it near where you are, but we have a jewelry exchange. Think about someone sitting on all that gold and silver inventory that's just sitting in their showcase. They're now twice as rich as they were 4 months ago. I mean, in silver, it's epic. I mean, it's literally epic what is going on. I would melt everything and get the hell out and enjoy your life because you just made 5x your money in less than 6 months. Dude, silver, dude, they shut the Hunt brothers down for taking silver from 15 to 50. They shut them down. Dude, this is the Hunt. Dude, this is Hunt times 100. Okay.
So who's
This is
who's the
like
Hunt brothers
8,000
in
Hunt
the
brothers.
entire market? Like, is
What?
the entire market the Hunt brothers?
What?
Who is the Hunt brothers in this scenario?
The retail public. There's a million Hunt brothers.
A
Okay.
million of them.
And
So
yeah,
okay.
millions, not a million, millions, millions.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
have
I don't
at
know.
least time
I
out.
don't think
I've been
I don't think
hit
you can
by
agree.
10 friends in the last week that they're buying silver.
And they're
Okay.
all coordinated doing the same thing.
They're not coordinated. Yeah, they are, Eric. There's something called podcasts out there, and your boy, who we won't mention their name, is literally doing a podcast to buy silver, okay, and get out of Bitcoin, but he got everybody long Bitcoin. So these guys are all chasers, okay? They're chasers, okay? And they want to create froth, they want to create, basically epic. Listen, it's what goes on in the world. And what's happened is, okay, you know this. Let me ask you a question. Like, you're saying you're trading a micro mini silver future, right? So what is that? A fifth of a regular silver future? Like, what is a micro mini? how
No,
much
it's a
how
half.
much is in a micro
It's a half.
mini? Okay,
It's a
so
half.
you're trading a half a future. So you need really big moves
I'm
to make.
using that to scale in.
No, I
Scale
know.
in.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that's what everybody's doing. They need epic moves on a daily basis to make any money because
Actually, it's the opposite of why I'm trading it because you don't need an epic move. You need like, if you're trading, I mean, it's 112 an ounce now, and it's moving $15 a day. You want to size down if you're trading a product like that. You can't.
yeah, but listen, it hasn't moved $15 a day until yesterday. Okay. The moves were like 6%, 5%. Okay. Yesterday was ridiculous insanity. Um, but, but, I think, but that doesn't that scare you though? Like that there's no up 60% for the year. There's no liquidity. There's no liquidity, zero. And I would be careful, just in general here because they could, you know, you saw what they could do, So anyway, like for me today, I'm not trading it. If it gets back down to 108, I'll sell on stop. I like to enter a trade like that. Yesterday that worked. I like to sell on stop. So we'll start what we call like a strip stop where we sell '08s, '07s, '06s, '05s, '04s, all the way down, and hope we get, that lead. I mean, I don't see that today. The market is,
You talk about that strategy a little bit more. What does that mean? A strip stop.
well, I like
Give
to sell or buy into strength or weakness. So as it gets weaker, we want to add to our short. And as it gets stronger, we want to add to our long. And then what we do is we utilize quick outs, meaning like we'll put a stop the other way to get out quickly. And if the thing moves like it did yesterday, you could, make, very decent money. So, that's, that's that. I mean, I don't see it today. I mean, it's funny. Gold and silver are like so stable that it's unbelievable. So we'll see out of the gate, what happens here. It's a pretty amazing move. What I think, we haven't talked about, and I think that we need to, is the Fed. Okay, the Fed meets tomorrow, expecting not a lot, but I'm actually expecting something a little off the beaten path of um, what you're probably thinking. I think he's actually going to address asset bubble, and he's going to address this move in silver and gold. Okay, I don't. If he ignores it, it means he's not doing his job. Okay, so I
Why
think
would he address it at all?
what
Why would he address it at all?
because gold is an inflation hedge. I mean, I guess now it's not, right? Gold's not an inflation hedge anymore. You use gold to hedge inflation, right? And you buy.
I don't remember the last time he ever mentioned gold. I could see a reporter asking him something about it, but I don't think he himself
Okay,
is going to
well, listen,
initiate.
I think that's coming. Okay, and I don't know if he's going to address gold in name. I think he's going to address asset bubbles in the landscape. That's what I think. And if he doesn't, then why are you shaking your head or rolling your eyes? I mean,
I don't think I think there's no reason for him to do it, but okay.
okay, okay.
Just in
So
his
wait,
under
what's his job? What's his job? Just to lower interest rates? I mean, what's his job, Eric? Not to address asset bubbles,
price
not to.
stability and price stability and low unemployment rate. That's
Oh,
his official
okay, okay.
job description.
That's not the job of the Fed, and that was never the job of the Fed. And I've watched Fed for 40 plus years, and they 100% address asset bubbles. That is a very large thing in their arsenal of what they look at. Okay, I mean, look,
Maybe you're right. Maybe if he says anything about gold and silver tomorrow, I actually think it would go up more.
okay,
because then
All
he's
right,
acknowledging
whatever. I'm not saying it's going to go up or down. I just think that the Feds, you know, their job is to help people or help the world understand the inner workings of what it is that they're there to do. Listen, what did Greenspan say? Right? He addressed the stock market. Okay. Do you hear me?
irrational exuberance.
All right. Right. Which, you know what's funny about that phrase? It's just like a nothing phrase, but they picked up on that like it was no tomorrow. And
Because it was
believe it or
catchy.
not, the market went down a lot off that and then came back, but it went down a lot off that. I mean, but why is he addressing the stock market? I'm just saying this, dude, this dwarfs the stock market at a level that you can't even understand. Do you know how much silver is up for the month? 55%. Okay. Do you know what the S&P is up in the last 5 years? 5 years is up like 60%. So it's up as much as the stock market in the last 5 years. And the last 5 years have been pretty good, right? Pretty good. So, I mean, that's not something that's concerning to the Federal Reserve. I mean, it has no wait, this has no bearing on anything. So why do they use gold as a gauge of anything? Okay. It was like an inflate dude, if you ask anyone about gold, they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's an inflation gauge." They people use and buy gold because of inflation. Okay.
Well, you
So
mocked it. I saw a stat yesterday where the percentage of the dollar as a percentage of foreign exchange reserves at central banks is just dropping and dropping and dropping. And it dropped again, and they're exchanging that for gold. So, I mean, if central banks are doing it, why shouldn't people be doing it?
you don't know what central banks are actually
I'm
doing.
telling you what they're doing.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. Okay, so since you knew that, you could have rode the ride and made 100% on your money in 4 months. It's not that easy. Okay, you know that. Okay, so until we got into this parabolic land where we are now, gold was going up, but not crazy. What's gold's return in the last 3 years? I bet you gold's not even doubled. Silver's up like 7x, and gold probably didn't even double you know, which is still a good move. But
I don't know.
but
For the long term, I think you look back at certain eras. I keep saying this. I know you don't like it, but when gold gets into a trend, it's usually secular, and it doesn't just go away. You know, 2000 to 2012, gold returns were obscene. I think it was like 600% or so. There are times where it gets into either a secular trend to the upside, or if it's a deflationary period, it'll be to a secular trend to the
now you're
downside.
saying this has to do with deflation and inflation. Gold is a meme stock, dude.
Okay,
It
all
doesn't
right,
have anything to do with deflation. Okay,
okay,
I mean,
okay,
or inflation. It
all
doesn't.
right.
How
Well,
does
we
it?
can't. I
Hold
will
on.
not
Is
argue.
is inflation timeout? Has inflation been going down over the last 6 months on paper? 100% by a lot. Okay. 5 years
Okay,
ago, dude,
yeah, but there's
gold.
also a dollar component to it, right? And if central banks are exchanging the percentage that of the dollar that they're holding in exchange for something else, you don't think that's going to put a natural bid at gold pretty much at every material dip?
No, I actually
No.
think that this is the end of a cycle when we get parabolic like this. And I think the cycle ends now. Does it end when you walk in one day and it's down 15% limit down and then continues? Does it end on a day like yesterday where we reversed silver to the biggest down side move off an upside move in the history, probably of silver, or pretty close in an hour and a half time. I'm not exactly sure, but I certainly know the one thing that I look at, okay, the one thing that I look at is the amount of, somehow you're telling me there's no retail and they're selling, which is so false that it's the craziest falsehood that I've ever seen.
I'm
When
not saying that they're selling. I'm saying there's a weird thing in the data.
the data
We
is not
have
correct. Whatever
to.
data you're looking at is not correct. The inflows are
Correct.
massive, massive.
It's just weird. Yeah, I think it's correct
And then
because
let
you
me
see
ask
it.
you this. Remember a time when Bitcoin, remember a time, it kind of reminds me of Bitcoin a lot. Remember a time where Bitcoin was Bitcoin was hedging inflation. It was used for the dollar. It was going to replace the dollar. It was this, it was that. And now it's nothing. Why is that? Like, why are all of those arguments out the window? Because you know why? The retail public doesn't give two shits about Bitcoin. They got wrecked and they're looking to make they're looking to make their money back. They lost 40% in Bitcoin, 30 to
I agree
40%.
with
And
you.
now they're running in timeout. They're running into silver and a little bit of gold to make all their money back in a month or two. That's what's going on here. And I don't know how you don't see that.
I
I don't know how you don't
mean,
see that. We spent
I don't see it
days.
exactly the way that you're presenting it, but I just want to be clear. Like tactically, I told you, I said it yesterday on in the morning, right here. I'm like, I'm out of gold, I'm out of silver. I'm tactically a little bit bearish here, especially on
I get
silver.
that. I'm just trying. I'm
But
just.
the long term situation, I think we're
How do
literally
you
like
know? Timeout. How could you know about the long term situation? The long term situation changes almost on a daily basis. Nobody
I
can
think
know long
I think
term what
the
it.
world is undergoing. I think the world. Let's start with the world. I think the world is
They're going to
undergoing.
gold. They got out of their Bitcoin. Remember, they were going to Bitcoin. The world needed Bitcoin. Every country used Bitcoin. Blah 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 blah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now they need gold.
you don't see what's going on in the world. I mean, you don't see what's happening with China. A lot of the internal conflict we have here in the United States. The world is watching this. The world is watching how we do business politically.
Wait a second. So
Uh,
now you're saying timeout. Now you're saying gold is a geopolitical trade when literally it just ran 15% and geopolitics went from a fairly heated level to almost zero. Okay. Trump's bluster doesn't mean anything. I know he's tariffing Canada 100. Okay, yeah, okay, sure he is. Dude, he ain't doing anything.
that's
Okay?
not.
So
That's nothing. That threat to Canada is just a little bit of noise, but the overall trend is a tectonic shift in geopolitical, in the global
you really
geopolitical.
feel that way? I feel like it's the same as always. You don't know what's going to
Now,
happen, where
when
it's
was the
going to
last
happen.
time you saw something like I think what you're seeing in Minnesota, or what you saw in Minnesota, is I don't think it's an isolated event. I think it's a symptom of something changing internally, and there's a lot of stuff changing
Dude, it's
externally all at
only
the same
Eric,
time.
it's only changing because of Donald Trump. I mean, come on. Those people wouldn't die if ICE wasn't deployed to Minnesota. Get ICE out of Minnesota. Like, what do they need to
Really,
be there for?
you want to nail it all down on Trump, but I would say a lot of what we see
I'm not
internally
nailing it down on Trump. I'm nailing it
of a
down
lot
on
of
the
policies
policies.
from other presidents keeping interest rates at 0% for decades, right?
But how come that didn't run gold? How come that didn't? That should be the most bullish thing ever for gold. Okay. High
Because
interest
during
rates
the
are not
Obama
bullish
years,
for gold.
even though interest rates were low, we were in a deflationary period. A lot of people in 2012, when you had QE3 and QE2, thought that commodities would go through the roof because, oh, well, we're printing so much money, interest rates are at zero, that's going to be inflationary. All of those economists were dead wrong. We never had
Eric,
inflation.
different. Can I explain
What
something to
sparked
you?
the inflation was Trump. When he
Yeah.
came into the door in 2016, you had the reflation trade. Okay, but then under Biden and the handling of COVID, and that's what really got all that inflation going. So
Eric,
I don't
what's
think
happened in gold? Listen to me.
in
What
the
has happened?
overall.
Dude, what has happened in gold and silver could never happen without the advent of option trading for retail public. Retail now accounts for 25% of the daily volume. That includes like algorithmic programs, that includes, you know, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know how you don't think you're trading in the most rigged environment, okay? I drove to work, okay? Guess what? Is the Dow up or down today? Just don't look. Tell me if the Dow's up or down. It's down 250 points. You know what? Nasdaq's up 100. Okay, this is the rig of the market. People don't
I
they
agree with
don't
you.
care.
There's definitely a rig in the market. You call it Jen and Kane. They're getting kicked out of China, getting kicked out of India. They're taking advantage of whatever they can technologically. Yeah, there's definitely a component. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I
What
don't.
did you
I
do?
want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit more about the Fed, but like I just want to leave it on this. I mean, you're looking at a move as like a pure move, and you're equating this to a pure move and whatever. This has nothing to do, Eric. This has nothing to do with anything. Has nothing to do with the dollar. Has nothing to do with interest rates. Has nothing to do with inflation.
At this
Has to
point,
do.
I
It has
I
to do with a meme. It
agree, but
it
I
has to
agree.
do with a meme. These are memers. And you'll know today by the volume. Dude, you know what the E-mini volume was yesterday? At the end of the day, I looked up. It was under a million. Silver's trading epic volume, and the E-mini's not trading because listen, they need to make exponential money. Remember when Nvidia was moving 20 bucks a day every day in the summer into the end of the year? That's what they need. So now they found a new playground to play in to move markets exponentially. I don't know how you're
But
not
it's
seeing it.
I see it. I see everything, dude. I understand everything you're saying, but it all started like that's today. Like maybe it's a meme over the last week or so in
No,
silver.
it's a meme over
It
the last
started out
month and a
back.
half. Hold
It
on. Go
started
to
out
the
for
average volume in
fundamental
silver a
reasons.
month ago. 2 months ago. Just hang on. Hang on. I'm gonna tell you exactly when it became a meme. When did it go from 10 million
While
average a
you're
day?
looking for the meme, I think the chat wants to know if you have a Lambo. Chat, is that right? You guys want to know if Larry drives a Lambo? He drives a Bentley. I've been in it. It's very
Ay,
nice.
ay, 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 ay. Dude, that is such a technical. It's
It's not
unbelievable.
technical. The chat wants
I
to know what.
can't get it. I can't get in a Lambo anymore. I was never a Lambo guy, by the way. I was a Ferrari guy. No Lambos for me.
You hear that, chat? So
I
made sure he
want to
answered.
drive in. I want to drive high up in luxury in case I crash. But no, literally, I don't know how you're not seeing this. Give me the average volume 3
Dude, you
months
need
ago.
to get yourself a
Hold
nice
on, hold on.
outfitted, an outfitted Jeep,
No,
green matte
no.
color.
Go back
That's what I like.
6 months. Okay, dude, just tell me how you don't see this. This is how I want to understand how you're not seeing how this is a meme and this is the craziest thing you've ever seen, and how you don't think that people are getting in this thing. You ready? At highs, okay? Average daily volume in SLV 6 months ago, it traded 450 million shares, okay, yesterday. What do you think the average volume in SLV was?
Overall, like
No, the average volume in the ETF SLV. Yesterday it traded 450 million shares. What do you think the average volume was 6 months ago when you think everybody was in it?
I would say like maybe 3 million.
No, how can it be 3 million? It's 10 million
I'm
average
really
volume.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, 10 million. So you're telling me an ETF that averaged over many, many years 8 to 10 million shares a day is now trading 400 million shares, and you don't think public's involved in this. You think people are getting out.
I
I'm just saying it's the
said
most
at the beginning
ridiculous.
of the podcast, the open interest was zero. So you said it. They're in and they're out.
No, no,
No?
no, no. That's for zero
Oh,
DTE.
that's different.
You
Okay.
never, you never see that. So, we trade zero DTE QQQ today. There's really not a lot of open interest. Today, it'll trade millions of contracts. It's a
I love
gambling
you.
casino.
You know how you love me. I love you too. But as long as it proves your point, then
No,
it's
it's not proving my point. I'm just telling you something that averages 10 million shares a day and trades 450 million shares in one day is a meme stock. You saw the same thing in GameStop. GameStop traded 20 times the float or 50 or 100 times the float every single day. Why? Because dude, they're all together in these trades. So it's a last man standing. And in GameStop, they all held hands until they couldn't hold hands anymore. So all I'm saying is that these stocks, like gold, is a meme stock. Okay. It's less meme than silver, but it's a meme stock. Okay. Something that can move a commodity that can move 10, 20, 30% in a week is not reality, dude. And I don't know how you're not thinking this is not affecting the Fed in any way. I mean, this is what the Fed uses to gauge inflation, pretty much. I mean, what else are they using?
they're using gold and silver to gauge
Yeah, I
inflation.
think I'm not saying silver. I think they use gold as a view into, inflation this is just telling me asset prices are
If
going
they
up.
do, they don't. If they do, they don't say it publicly.
Okay.
Now, to your point, I'm sure they internally discuss, hey, why are USD reserves going down globally? Maybe that's a conversation. But whatever, it's 9:12. The chat wants to know.
I do not have a Lambo. I do not have a Lambo.
No, no. They want to know what you think
Do they
of
know
whether.
how old I am? I can't have a Lambo. I'm a senior, almost a senior citizen, for God's
Yeah.
sake.
So, by the way, I got to give you kudos. Being a senior citizen,
I'm not a senior citizen yet.
whatever.
Okay.
Just say you're a senior citizen, and you're still trading at a high octane level. So that's. I'll give you respect for that. You know.
Yeah, I'm still operating at a high level. I don't know how long that'll last. You never know. Um, I'm just,
So, what
look,
levels? Come on, tell us the levels you're.
you know what I like best about this? Honestly, about the opportunistic trader and all of this, and I think I'm going to try to do this until I'm like 85 or 90 if I'm still, you know, rational. I'm probably not rational now, but what I love about this, okay, is that I get to give my view of what I've seen. Okay. And obviously, it's now different because algos have taken over, and I'm trading against guys that don't know anything about markets. They just care about, today they're selling Dow and buying S&P, and tomorrow they don't care and they rip the markets. But I do believe the knowledge that I have over the time of standing on the floor during the crash in 1987 to trading, the internet bubble where I was a young man at that time, or fairly young, um, to trading '08, which was really '08 was, you know, I see a lot of '08 in this differently, but I do. But I'm happy that I'm able to show people, different types of trades. I've been lucky enough over the last 6 or 7 years of doing this, which I've enjoyed, of having all my products make our customers money, which is, you know, not easy to do. And, we've had some rocky roads. You've been with me, I think it was 4 years ago when I was in London and you took over and we went ballistic and and we
I got
we were
bearish.
up, then we
I
went
got
down, but we ended up, okay? But,
bearish.
that's what I think is most important. And, I know people are probably, you know, throwing darts at me and saying I'm an idiot and whatever, and that's fine. But you know what? Our job is to keep everybody standing, and we're
No,
not.
nobody thinks that. They just think that
No, I know, but
you
but
don't like
I'm
momentum.
not chasing. I'm not chasing parabolic markets. If you want that, we can go to your friend, what's his name, who I won't name, and you can go listen to his podcast, and he can tell you to buy Bitcoin all the way up, and then when Bitcoin drops 40%, he can tell you to get out of Bitcoin and buy silver. Okay, I don't know how people have money to do this trade. I mean, it's weird, but the weird thing to me is gold a week ago today was 4,500. It's now 5,100, and there's been no back and fill of any sort. I mean, how is that even possible? I mean,
In
it's
what?
just
You say in what?
what?
In what? In what product?
Gold went from 4,500 to
Are you watching silver right now?
5,105. What?
Are you watching silver right now? It just dropped from 112 to 108 in like
Dude.
2 hours.
Dude, that
Oh my
is
god! You believe in all this?
technical. This
Oh my
this is
god!
why I do the show, because you are ridiculous.
God, you
Oh
believe in
my
superstition.
god, dude.
You're a
That,
superstitious
that
trader.
is so
Oh my
bad.
god!
Wake me up when it's 90, son,
Oh my
and all
god!
your people. Your boy Jordy, who we're not going to mention his last name, we'll mention his first name, is now
He's
getting
gonna
all his knuckleheads into silver.
so
Okay?
what?
I mean, come on.
Dude, you don't
I'm
like
just saying,
momentum, but
time
I'll tell
out.
you something
Time
about
out.
momentum.
Time
First of
out.
all, I, first of all, I can't believe you're a superstitious trader. That's just crazy. But
I think everybody on this podcast that's trading, if you have trades that are working, you never talk about it. If you're professional, you
don't.
don't say anything. I walked out of this office making $10 million in a day.
Who said
Okay.
anything about
Okay.
making money
Time
on
out. Can you
just
stop talking?
observing
You
a
need to
move?
stop talking. Okay. Literally. Yeah, I've made tens of millions of dollars in a day. Went to dinner with people. They wouldn't know I made $1, dude. You don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. You're professional. Do
All
not
right.
even talk
You
about
think I
silver
made money
until it's
last night
under
or
100.
lost money? Okay. You think I'm in a good mood, right? And you think I'm making money?
No, I
Am I?
don't think it. I obviously know it. Look at you.
I'm actually down. I
You're
am
like on
down.
helium. You're on
I am
helium right now,
down on the
son.
day. I am down on the
All I'm
day.
saying is, how do you get gold to
You
move
don't
from
know.
timeout? How do you get gold to move from 4,500 to 5,100 and not test any level at any price? That's a meme, dude. This is all meme. And
Not
dude,
sure. I remember when
silver at 108 is still $5 higher than it was last night. Okay? So I don't know what you're celebrating.
I'm not celebrating. I was just observing a move, but whatever. I don't
Oh,
believe in this big round number nonsense that you're talking about.
okay. You don't have to. Okay. I mean, I look at that all the time. Big round numbers are always important. Always. Always.
You think they're important, but statistically, they're not really important.
Okay. Dude, you are like a ton of horror, dude. You're honestly, you're asking me if I drive a Lambo? If you act like that, you're never gonna drive a Lambo. You're like, yeah, 108. Yeah. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm, I'm
Jesus
just,
Christ.
I'm asking you what the chat is asking. I'm just relaying questions.
I understand, but why are you
I'm just a
celebrating
bridge,
a
dude. I'm a
$2
middleman.
down move in silver? I mean, the thing is up 60% for the month, and you're celebrating a 1.5% move. Okay, whatever,
Me?
dude. You
What?
just did it. Dude,
Okay.
that is the most taboo thing in trading of life.
Okay.
Honestly, like
I'm
I
gonna do it.
ran timeout,
I'm gonna
timeout.
rack that bill at that restaurant, dude.
Dude,
Just for
you
that, I'm
better
gonna
run
rack
it up
that.
because I might take it back after that action.
You can't take it back.
Could you
You can't.
imagine we're sitting in a trading room? I
Uh
tell
huh.
you my position, and you
Uh
come
huh.
over to me when I have the position on and go, "Great trade in gold, amazing." I'm like, dude, you just don't do that.
I'm
It's just,
borrowing your trade. I
dude,
am with
it's
you on
just
the shop.
something you don't do.
I'm
I
racking
love
up
you,
that
dude.
bill.
You don't
I am
do it.
racking
You
up
don't
that
do
bill.
it. You
I'm
go
gonna
like
wreck.
this. You ready? You go like this. You do not talk about it. Okay.
I'm
You
racking
do
up
not.
that.
But, you know,
Can you
for
give us some S&P levels, please?
I don't think S&P is even in the trading program today. I think that, you know, we'll see on the opening. These guys have bought so much silver. I got to believe there's going to be a liquidation in here. I don't think anyone's looking at the S&P, dude. It traded no volume yesterday. Silver traded as much as the S&P yesterday. The silver ETF traded as much as the S&P. That doesn't bother you? That you don't think is retail buying? What is it? Professional buying? there, dude, yesterday, the SPY, which is the proxy for the S&P 500, right? You'd agree, right? Traded $41 billion. Okay? Do you know what silver? Silver, not gold, silver. You know what silver traded yesterday? 40 billion. It traded the same. Where do you think? You don't think? I mean, you don't think retail is in this and people are in this? This thing wasn't even in the top 20 ETFs before. Now, yesterday, it barely missed being the top ETF in the world. That's not freaking you out.
All right, you're gonna go back to
Silver
silver.
already rallied a dollar,
Seems
clown
like you don't
man.
want to give S&P
Dude,
levels.
silver, listen, your silver already just rallied a dollar. You couldn't be more of a kiss of death. I mean, that's the kiss of death,
Okay,
honestly. I
you're
know. Dude,
okay. Keep fighting the
yeah,
momentum,
hold
and
on. Even
and
Thomas said something. Look, dude, even he said something.
yeah,
Like,
because
why,
I feel
dude?
bad
Why?
for the kid. He's picking up on all your bad habits. I actually feel
What
bad,
bad habits? You don't talk about a trade when you're in
dude.
it,
You're
when
so
it's
super.
working. You're
Actually
like in
very
your office going,
surprised.
yeah, I got gold. I'm long. It's going up. Dude, and it's funny
Oh my god,
because that's new. You're right. That's new
you're
trader.
superstitious.
That's new trader versus old trader. Okay.
Yeah.
Like new traders celebrating. I'm surprised you don't have like a disco
So
ball
when
with,
you're on a hot
dude, I'm
streak,
telling
you
you,
get
it's
your
the
underwear.
you're of the generation. Dude, when I played Little League, check this out. When I played Little League, if you
Oh,
didn't freaking win, you got nothing. Okay. You walked home with zero. You're the generation, you got like
God.
18 trophies. Great performance. You participated. Here's a trophy.
What are
That's
we talking
your
about?
world,
Dude,
dude.
what
That's
generation
why
are you
that's
got
why
three
you
kids? What
celebrate. I've
generation are
never
you talking about?
celebrated a trade in my life. Never, ever celebrated a
Who is
trade in my life.
celebrating? Nobody's celebrating.
Oh,
I'm just
you
in
celebrate.
shock.
Dude, I've been working with you for
So when you
6
go
years.
on a
You are
hot streak, you
the
not change
king of
your underwear.
celebration. You're the king of
So
celebration. You
so
are.
when you go on
You
a
pat
hot streak,
yourself on the back. You're like, yeah. And the best part is you have to admit this. You love to buy. You will buy
you
anything. You
know,
won't
rack up
sell
that
to
dude
for
with the
you.
restaurant.
You sell one out of every 20 trades. You buy
I
everything. You got to point the camera to the ceiling. You got like a disco ball that like confetti comes out when you buy silver. It's like, yeah, Eric, you're in it. You participated. I mean, come
you know
on.
what?
The,
I'm gonna bring my friends to the restaurant too.
dude, you can. I'll let you bring two friends because I feel bad for you. But I will say this, okay?
Don't feel
I
bad.
have
I feel
made I have made a lot of money trading over the years. A lot of money. Okay. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying a lot of money.
yeah,
People on
you
the
are.
podcast.
You
There
just
are
said
people
never
on
talk
this
your
podcast.
trade,
Let me
never
talk.
talk up your P&L, and now you're saying how much money you make, dude. You're an
Dude,
oxymoron.
you're not letting me speak as you know. So let me just say, okay, and then we're gonna end the podcast. There's a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah,
Straddles
with no
pricing where nothing to do, but here's what I would say. Okay, all right. I probably made money over the years. I had a period of 20 straight years of making money. You know how many times I celebrated a trade or even talked about it?
I
I'm
don't know
asking you.
how many times. 100 times.
Zero. Zero.
You did when
And
Bitcoin fell.
that's can I talk? And that's how I grew as a trader. Okay? Because let me just instill this last thing and then we'll go because we're close to the opening. I always talk about this. My best trade that I ever made was on the CBOE when I made $1,000. Okay? I had days I made 50 million, for my hedge fund, okay, in a day, okay? That day never got me as excited as the first day I made $1,000. Dude, this is a business. Our job is to make money. Okay. You cannot celebrate wins. Okay. If you do, you're going to give it all up. Okay. The generation we're in talks about all their winning trades and none of their losing trades. That's the generation we're in. If you don't see that, you know, I'd be surprised. Eric, that is
100%.
the environment we're in.
100%.
Everybody's talk. Dude, I can tomorrow, I'm going to see a way if Thomas can do this. I will show you how many friends have talked to me about silver, okay, that have never traded it until the last couple of weeks. That, if that's not a signal, I don't know what a signal is. Okay. Um, but don't celebrate. We'll celebrate when it gets to 85, where it was a week and a half ago. Okay. where it was when all these knuckleheads, the first batch got in. But anyway, do you have the straddle up? We'll leave with I haven't done a trade in my zero DTE product for multiple days because there hasn't been a lot.
21. Straddles at 21.
Right. So that's the problem. Like your King Condor, like the problem is like yesterday, the Condor was, like the straddle was $23 and then the SPOO ran 50. It's too low. And you got to be
Oh,
careful.
yeah, I had the 69. So for today, yesterday I had the 6950s. Kind of got lucky on that a little bit, but it was pretty right there, right there. I'm thinking 69.85 if you could get premium there today. And 69.40, 69.35 is where I want to sell some puts.
Awesome. But for those guys that are watching the chat, I do have a yellow Lambo. No, I don't. I'm only kidding. Anyway, good luck all. Quiet day around in S&P. The action will be in gold. I am going to short gold if it gets to 50.30. Okay, for a move below 5,000 either later today or tomorrow. If it doesn't get there, we're going to sit tight. It's not a big move. It's less than 0.5%. But if it gets there, you'll start seeing people get hurt and we'll go from there. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy.